Cabbage is not a food that commands much excitement in most Western kitchens. It is inexpensive, durable, mildly flavored, and nutritionally decent, a solid background vegetable. Kimchi, its fermented Korean counterpart, is an altogether different proposition. The fermentation process does not merely preserve cabbage. It restructures its nutritional identity in ways that make the end product categorically superior for several overlapping reasons, and vitamin K is one of the most interesting dimensions of that transformation. Fresh cabbage contains vitamin K1 phylloquinone, derived from its plant chlorophyll. That K1 is present in meaningful quantities and available for absorption, particularly when the cabbage is consumed with some dietary fat. So far, raw cabbage holds its own. But the fermentation process that transforms cabbage into kimchi introduces a variable that fresh cabbage cannot offer at all: bacterial conversion of K1 into K2. Certain bacterial strains active in fermentation, particularly Bacillus subtilis and related species, produce menaquinones, the longer-chain forms of vitamin K2, as metabolic byproducts. These K2 forms behave differently in the body than K1. They have longer half-lives in circulation, are more effectively transported to extrahepatic tissues, including bone and arterial walls, and appear in the growing research literature to confer specific benefits for bone density and cardiovascular calcification prevention that K1 alone does not fully cover. Beyond the K2 development, kimchi's fermentation generates a probiotic population that may actually enhance the absorption efficiency of the K1 that remains in the dish. A healthy gut lining supported by diverse beneficial bacteria is better positioned to absorb fat-soluble nutrients generally. This creates a synergistic loop. Fermentation produces K2, introduces beneficial bacteria, and those bacteria support more efficient utilization of the K1 present from the original cabbage. There is also the broader gut health picture. Kimchi is a multi-strain probiotic food, and the diversity of bacterial species it contains varies with fermentation duration, temperature, and the specific recipe. Longer fermentation at cooler temperatures tends to produce greater microbial diversity. The 7-day kimchi that many home fermenters produce is nutritionally and microbiologically distinct from the 3-month aged kimchi that more serious practitioners make. Both are valid, but they are not interchangeable in terms of their probiotic and K2 content. A reasonable caution: store-bought kimchi labeled as kimchi is not always a fermented product. Some commercial producers use vinegar acidification to simulate fermented flavor without the microbial transformation that creates K2 and probiotics. The label cue to look for is live cultures or unpasteurized status. Pasteurization, while extending shelf life, kills the bacterial populations that make fermented kimchi nutritionally distinct from the fresh cabbage baseline. Reading labels in this category is not optional. It is the difference between the product you think you are buying and the one you actually get.